Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I have my regional topping Tenpai deck. Just barely narrowly missed top 8. I lost in the last round. Both of my losses did make top 8, so really disappointing at the end there, but you know, it is what it is. This is really close to the deck profile that I did for a box tournament that I won, and you're actually going to see that profile second, even though it was an earlier version of the deck. It's pretty much Wednesday right now when the regional happened this past Saturday, so I kind of gotta hurry up and get this up so that this deck profile stays relevant. But I'll just go ahead and get into it. Pretty standard. I just played 3 Pydra, 1 Chandra, 1 Fadra, 1 Genroku, 1 Kaiman, 1 Sangin, and 1 Terraforming. That's the standard Tenpai lineup for this version of the deck. And then I'm on Fiendsmith. These are borrowed from a friend, and you know, they were really excellent for me, but if you wanted something more budget, I'd probably recommend Sky Striker, which is what I'm going to do after I give these back. But I played the 3 Engraver, the 1 Lacrima, the 1 Fabled Lurie. I played 2 Tracked. It was all I had access to, but honestly I think it was kind of perfect. I don't know if I would even play 3 if I had it. 1 Fiendsmith in Paradise, and then that's the Fiendsmith engine in the main deck. And then I ran Bystials in the main deck. I have 3 Lubellion, 1 Magnemite, which searches your dragons, very good. 1 Druid Swarm, and 1 Baldrake. Oh, excuse me, I just burped. And then I also play 1 Branded Regain, and then those are like the 3 main engines of the deck, and they all work together really well. Maybe I'll get into it after the profile, some stuff you can do. And then for the non-engine, I have 3 Fuelos, also borrowed. This card's crazy. I mean, I just pretty much just won 2 game. I shotgunned it in the draw phase, going second twice because I was trying to play around triple tactics talents, and it pressured the turns so well that I just won the game. In fact, I think it happened 3 times. I think it happened in round 8 of 9-2. We played 9 rounds. I finished 7-2. I think about 3 times I shotgunned this in the draw phase going second. And 2 times it caused my opponents to just pass, and I had a good enough hand to just kill them. And 1 time the guy was like, well, I'm already down a game and this hand's not that good, but I just have to play into it because I can't just lose. So he made his detonator, and I think I drew like 2 cards that turn, and I just killed him anyway. So like, this card was crazy, and this never came up for me. But even if you draw us going first, you can just like make Requiem and or Hieratic Seals, and then tribute them for cost on your opponent's turn, have no cards on the field, and just be like, okay, I'm gonna Maul Charmer you too. Like, this card's like disgusting in the main deck. I was siding it at first because I was like, oh, it's only good going second. No, that is not true. You can clear your own field and drop this on them, which never came up for me, but it is a thing you can do. And then of course you got 3 Ash, 3 Valor. This is a change. Everything that from the box tournament is the same, except I dropped Nib from 3 to 2 to go to 40 instead of 41. And I actually really like this change because it's the worst thing in the world to have 2 Nibiru in your hand. It just creates a dead card, and also Nibiru is kind of like the worst non-engine in your deck that's good. It's like you need other stuff with it to make it work most of the time. So I was quite pleased with that change. I just basically just dropped Nibiru from 3 to 2, but otherwise it's the same deck list from the box tournament. 2 Talents. This card's crazy broken. 3 Imperm is the last card, which that card's very good too, just outs Detonator. Then into the extra deck, I have Moon of the Closed Heaven to bridge into all the Fiendsmith stuff, and this also came up just not even to make Requiem, but I actually had an extra body and just linked into it just to throw a Light Fiend in the graveyard to make Desiree one time. So this card was actually pretty necessary. And then the rest of the Fiendsmith stuff, I have Agnum Day, Sequence, Requiem, Necroquip, Desiree, Caesar, and Chaos Angel. Like, that's like the standard like package that you need. You legitimately need Chaos Angel because it basically just clears Detonator for free off of your Fiendsmith engine. So I definitely made all of those cards plenty of times, and they were all very useful. Tenpai stuff, I played Bident, Transcendent, and then at the last minute, this is another change from the box tournament, I cut SP Little Knight for Trident Dragion, because the only times I ever wanted to summon SP Little Knight is whenever I was already losing and wanted to banish one of their best cards, and then I would just end up losing the game anyway. And you don't always need this card because you can basically just use Bident to pop the Tenpai field spell and like make this 6,000 if you need to get over something. Like, it's not super necessary, but I did really like this because I used it to run over a Chaos Angel and go for game, and I'm not so sure that using Bident to make Transcendent 6,000 even would have clutched the game. So I think Trident Dragion actually did legitimately come up for me and win me the game playing it over SP Little Knight. So I actually really like this because it felt more useful than Little Knight ever did for me, even though I only played it in one event. So I would play this card even though people haven't been. Like, I like this better than Little Knight. I didn't need Little Knight at all during all 9 rounds. Didn't need it one time, but I did need this one time, so I would play this over it. Then, of course, they have the 1 Hieratic Seals. You can do that play I talked about where you just make Seals pass and then tribute your Seals to drop a Fubulos. And then line is pretty sick. It's a bridge to your Promethean Princess, but it's stuff it can also do against like Fiendsmith Raizu's. Like, you can take a Fiendsmith to make Fiendsmith links with it, which is something I did. Something else I did, I stole a Detonator to use its effect against my opponent, and that won the game. Like, this card is crazy. I would definitely play this over like Hida or whatever else. This is the best Charmer to play right now, if you can make it, is Lina. And then, of course, Promethean Princess, which I used to bring back Pydra and win the game once. That's what it's for, is to bring back your Tenpais that have been previously used and just win the game. And then Typhon, which I did make a couple times. Sometimes your hand's just not good enough to out the Raizu board, and you'll just play into it and clear as much of their stuff as possible. Let them hand trap you, let them throw cards into you. And then right at the end, you just drop a Typhon, and you can basically clear their Duo Drive and their Detonator with the Typhon, which did come up, and then you can like win the grind after that. So Typhon did come up for me, and I'm glad I played it. And then the side, this is probably the most different part about the deck since the box tournament. I was previously playing 3 Ghost Ogre, but now I am playing 3 Droll and Lockford in its place. This was for Mitsurugi Raiziol and just like Rogue, I guess. I never drew it once. Whoops, I dropped one, but whatever. 3 Lancia. Never drew it once. It was for Malice. I played 2 Malice. Didn't see it. I played 1 Meows. This card was also for Malice, but I just didn't see it because it's a 1. I've only had 1. I pulled it, and I just threw it in. I was like, whatever, maybe I'll just high roll it, and maybe it's useful against some other stuff. I never saw it because, it's, you know, it's a 1 of. And then 2 Thrust. I was previously playing Lightning Storm, but I actually like this better because this can still find the Feather Duster, which was the role Thrust was fulfilling. But this also gave me flexibility to do stuff like side a copy of Talents out so that I could find it with this going second. So it gave me more like side out options, because your side out options are actually really tight in the deck. Like, it's hard to side in the deck because you need almost all of your engine always. So I really like this. This was to help me find Feather Duster talents. This could also find Tracked or Terraforming. So I think I only saw this once. I think I grabbed the talents off of it or something. Like, I didn't see this super often, but it was good when I had it. Feather Duster, hard drew this once. It was okay. It cleared an imperm. Called by, never drew it. I just basically threw it in because everyone's playing hand traps, and yeah, I mean, it's like one of the only ways to guarantee that your board sticks going first. I don't know if I'd play it going second because I'd rather just draw like Thrust or Talons or something, but I boarded it in for going first and I just never saw it. And then the last cards were 2 Strike and 2 Judgment, and before I was playing 3-3, so the Meows and the Called By basically took the slot of 3 of each of these, and the math on it is that basically you're going to draw one of these 5 in your opening hand going first most of the time. So I was pretty comfortable with dropping it down, because if you have this and your combo's just going to resolve, like, you win. And if you have these to back up your combo after getting interrupted, you're also going to win. So these were really good. And the reason I like these, I explained this in the box tournament deck profile, so you'll see me say it again eventually, even though that profile is older than this one. These trade for value really well this format. So the Xyz monsters Ryzul has to make, they have to put like 2 monsters into it, and you can just strike and judgment them and 2 for 1 them. And then it's even worse for Malice because they have to put 3 monsters into one of their guys, so it's a 3 for 1 on them. And then when it comes back around to you, this deals with hand traps and this deals with their spells and traps. So like, even if you don't use these on their turn right away, whenever it comes back around, they're still very much live, useful cards that you can play and win the game with. So that's basically it. So it's like basically the same side deck, but I have Droll instead of Ghost Bell, Meowless and Call By instead of the 3rd Judgment and Strike, and 2 Thrust instead of 2 Lightning Storm. Like, those are the changes. But that's going to do it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And you know what? Let's just get into how this plays real quick for anyone who doesn't know. I mean, this deck's been in the format for a while, but just is what it is. Maybe someone is looking to learn something, and I can be the one to teach it to them. So basically, the way this works is you do want to be going first with this deck because you just make a massive board. So what you would do with a hand like this, so basically everything like is in layers. So like this is the first layer of combo that you want to be trying to do, and then I would say this is the second layer, and then this is the 3rd layer. So like, if you just take it in steps, you just, you know, start with the engraver, get your Tracked, activate Tracked. Tracked will add Fabled Lurry, and you discard Lurry for the Tracked Lurry effect. Lurry comes back, and then you can link 1 into Requiem, which I know, I'm sorry, it's hard to see, it's nighttime and I don't have good lighting. All I have is like the 1 light. Requiem effect, and this is going to get you your Lacrima, and then Lacrima sends Fiendsmith in Paradise. So this is already an interruption with Fiendsmith in Paradise, but we're just going to take it a little bit farther. We're going to Requiem attach itself to Lacrima, and then you're going to make Necroquip Princess here. And then this is kind of your checkpoint for your Bystial Lubellion. So if you don't have Bystial Lubellion, you can just use Engraver to shuffle your Lurry back to the deck for cost. And then you have a rank 6, which is your High King Caesar. And then that is going to basically give you 2 negates of any card that would special summon a monster, and it negates and destroys. You also have, this is technically in deck, Fiendsmith in Paradise, which can send your Fiendsmith Desiree to the graveyard in the middle of your opponent's turn, and then Desiree, you'll have a Light Fiend in the graveyard left over to send one of their cards to the graveyard with Desiree in the middle of your turn. So this is essentially 3 interruptions, and something else you can do is you could use Lacrima on your opponent's turn to resummon the Requiem on your opponent's turn and put the Lacrima back in deck, and then in the middle of your opponent's turn you can tribute your Requiem, summon the Lacrima, and get some deck, then send like a second Engraver. Like maybe your Engraver got hit by a Bystial that was top decked for the 6th card, so you can summon your Lacrima and send another one for the follow-up. So there's quite a lot of advantage off of just that, but let's go back to the checkpoint real quick, because that's your first layer of interruption, your like main combo. But right here at the Necro Princess checkpoint, what you can do is you can use Bystial Lubellion, which this is going to add most of the time Magnamut, but like sometimes not. It just kind of depends on the situation, but we'll just use Magnamut for the example. And then since you don't super need your Lacrima after this point, because a lot of the times what happens, you use the Lacrima combo on your opponent's turn that I just talked about to send the Fiendsmith in Paradise if you get interrupted during your turn. Like sometimes they'll like effect Veiler your Lacrima, or you know, just stupid stuff like that. You can basically still get to the Paradise with that play. But in this situation where you already have everything you want in the graveyard, you can actually just go ahead and banish the Lacrima. And the reason you're banishing the Lacrima with the Magnamut, so you can activate Magnamut's effect to get a Search for a Dragon in the end phase. And now you have a level 6 dragon that you can just send away for Lubellion. And oh wait, I skipped a step. I'm sorry. So before you activate Magnamut, basically after you add the Magnamut, the Lubellion was a monster that was discarded from hand to grave. So this triggers your Necro Princess, and then you get to draw a random card. And now you can activate the Magnamut and banish the Lacrima. I know this is like hard to see. I don't have a really good setup for this. And then now you can get your Lubellion, and then Lubellion's effect can place Branded Regained. And then after this point, which there's a world where you should summon the Engraver by shuffling the Lurry back first, and that's not Engraver, that's Engraver. You make the Caesar right away, because they'll, before you summon the Magnamut or summon the Lubellion, they have to Nibiru you here, like whenever you just have these two, because you're at your 5 summons. But if they don't Nibiru you, you can basically just go into Caesar, and then that can negate Nibiru. So I know I'm showing this out of order. It's 6 a.m. I'm very tired. I basically just woke up. This is all the time I have, and I gotta get this deck profile out there. But you would do this first, then you would Magnamut, then you would Lubellion. So that way you're protected from Nibiru. But this is essentially the second layer of interruption that you have. So you have your Fiendsmith in Paradise and Graveyard, you have your Caesar, and now you have a Regained, which is really, really good against Malice, because whenever they banish a monster, you can just put it on the bottom of the deck and draw a card instead of letting it summon itself, which is kind of cracked. And then this also allows you to basically draw a card essentially almost every turn, because if you're going to be activating Bystials, which you're going to be getting one off of the Magnuma in the end phase more than likely, so you're going to have one, so you're going to guaranteed draw a card off of this basically. So you drew a card with Necroquip, and now you're going to draw another one off of Regained. And Regained also, whenever your opponent normal special summons a monster, you're going to get your Magnum up back and activate its trigger again. So basically, not only on this end phase, but on your opponent's end phase, you're going to get another Bystial and then trigger another draw off of it. Or you can get a Tenpai, whatever you need. But this is like your second layer here of interruption is the Regained and the Bystials that come off of cycling the Magnumut. And then the last layer to your end board are the Tenpai cards. So we'll use Pydra here, and I would recommend, if you don't have the field spell, to always go for that first and save the Kaiman for as long as possible, so you get Sanguine Summoning, and you can set it to the field, which plays around Droll and stuff, like if you start with Pydra. So I would recommend doing that. But then your Sanguine Summoning, you can activate, and then you have extra cards that you drew off of Necroquip, so you can just pitch a random card in your hand from deck to graveyard. So this here will go in the graveyard, which I know you can't see right now. And then you can add Genroku, which when it's added to hand, it'll trigger itself, and you can make it a level 4 tuner. And then this is something that I do, which this might be wasteful, but you know, whenever you reach this point, like if you go uninterrupted, like this is just a mega board, like it's not getting broken most of the time. So just as an insurance policy, what I do is I take these and I make the Biden Dragon, and then I have Biden Dragon bring back Genroku, so Genroku's on the board. And then I'll make the Hieratic Seals with the Lubellion and the Bident. And then the Lubellion gives me an extra light to banish for the Bystial I'm about to add in the end phase, in case my opponent doesn't have any. So I'm always triggering that Regain draw on their turn, no matter what. But the Lubellion and the Bident are just going to make the Seals. So you have Seals here. And then you can activate your Genroku. And then get your Fadra, and then that'll bring your Genroku back. So this is pretty much what your setup is. So now they have to play through 2 Caesar activations, a Seals, Fiendsmith in Paradise, and then also Branded Regain, and in the end phase you're going to grab, if you're going first, most likely it's Baldrake. So this is what happens here. Whenever they normal or special summon, you'll get your Magnumut back, so you have a light or a dark to use with Baldrake. or whenever you activate seals, you could summon Druid Swarm, and then you could like Baldrake, tribute Druid Swarm, get Ascend. So technically they're playing through 2 Caesar activations, 1 bounce from Hieratic Seals, send off a Desiree with Fiendsmith in Paradise, Baldrake banishing a Ritual Fusion, Synchro Xyz, or Link. I think it does Pendulums too. If you make your way into Druid Swarm off of Seals, and you Baldrake send the Druid Swarm, that you also have a send from that. And whenever they go to attack you, they have to find a way to clear Fadra, and Genroku can also tag into Chandra from deck on your opponent's turn. So we'll put the Baldrake there so you know it's there, and then the Fiendsmith in Paradise. And then also a potential Druid Swarm send off of Baldrake. So you have a, and that, oh yeah, and also if they attack, like if 3 attacks are declared, Bident Dragon can also come flying out of your graveyard and summon itself and blow up one of their spells or traps if they have them on the field. And then if your Fadra is still on the field, you can chain it and make Transcendent on their turn and force all of their stuff into attack mode, and then they just have to slam everything into your huge guys, because Caesar's 28, Transcendence 3k. If you still have the Chandra on the field, after you quick sync the Fadra with the Bident, you're going to trigger your Chandra and get another Pydra and add Kaiman for follow-up. Like, at the end of the day, they're playing through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6, potentially 7 if they're playing Malice, 8 interruptions, and then even if they play through all of that, like if they just have the God Hand, now they got to get through the Great Wall of Fadra. Like, it's just not happening. Like, your board's just not getting broken through that 3-card combo. And the deck is played in such a way where everything is layered into each other. So it's like, 1 Fiendsmith card is what you want to see, either Engraver or Attract. Sometimes Normal Summon, Lurry, or Lacrima gets you there. But basically, you just want to see a Fiendsmith card, and then you can add on to that by having a Bystial card, which are really good in the format. Because of other Fiendsmith decks, you can banish them, and it even just comes up for other things. Like, sometimes if you're playing Malice and they Splash Mage and Malice monster that was already summoned from banish, you can just get rid of it and just like ruin their play. So the Bystials are quite good, and they pair well with the Fiendsmith, and they're also good against the Fiendsmith. So what you want to see is, first and foremost, a Fiendsmith card, and then the next thing you want to see is a Bystial. And then if you have a Tenpai card, like, you're just winning the game. And this is also true going second, because if you start first with this, like, they have to interact with this Fiendsmith stuff because it's so strong. And then if they don't, like, they're probably going to lose. And if they do, you just have so much follow-up in the form of the Bystials, because after you start doing Bystial stuff, like, you're going to start drawing cards and doing things of that nature. And these Bystials are also crazy because they're level 6, and Chandra's a level 4 tuner. So you could do stuff like in the battle phase, use Chandra to quick sync into Chaos Angel. You could technically go like Magnamut, add, I can't find it, but Genroku, summon itself as a level 4 tuner on their end phase after you like Magnamut them, and then go straight into Transcendent, and then just go like straight to battle phase if you like got lucky enough to hard open Kaiman. You can just kill them. Like, these cards synergize so well together, it's unreal. But if you have Fiendsmith card, Bystial, and Tenpai Dragon, like, you're just winning the game no matter what. And then even if you don't, like, if you just have like hand traps and like one Fiendsmith card, or hand traps and one Tenpai card, like, you're still going to kill them because you're just going to hand trap them to death. They're going to do nothing. And then your Fiendsmith cards are going to be really, really strong and hold the fort down and win the game. And if that doesn't happen, you'll have Tenpai cards that just kill them. The one thing you don't want to see is like a bunch of hand traps and then just Bystials, because then you're like off to a slow start. And like, you can win like that, but typically if you pair these with like one or the other of these, or like hand traps, like, you're just winning. And then if you have all three together, you're super winning. Like, you saw that board. There's no way they're breaking that board and going second. There's no way they're playing through all those effect and activations from the Fiendsmith, dealing with huge Bystials coming down on the board that can attack over their stuff. And then on top of it, they have to stop Tenpai from killing them. Like, you win. Straight up, you just win. Like, if you draw these together. I had to cut myself in from the future here because there was something I failed to mention on those hands that were full of hand traps and like one Bystial. So let's just say you use the Bystial as an interruption, and like, you've hand trapped them down enough that their turn is over, and then you know, you draw for turn, and it's just like let's just say like this is your top deck, or maybe you just have a leftover hand trap for last turn. Like, even then, like, those poor hands, like, they can still win because you can just normal summon one of the hand traps, and then you make Moon of the Closed Heaven, which, whoops, I put down the wrong card, and it's a light fiend, and then you can just like link it off for Requiem, and then you have full Fiendsmith combo. So that's like something you can do with one of the poorer hands, and sometimes it just wins the game. I mean, one time I at the regional, I tribute summoned Engraver to make Requiem, and it won the game. So like, it was like a Bystial sitting on board. I think I terraforming, then Desangan summoning, and I got drolled, and I just had my Bystial chilling there, and I tribute summoned Engraver and just won the game off of Requiem. So this deck is very potent. It can always play. And then another thing I wanted to mention that I didn't go over now that I'm done recording is I talked a lot about how the Bystials were really good against Malice getting branded regain, so you can put their banish guy that they're trying to summon on the bottom of their deck and draw a card. But this is also a one card out to Detonator. So basically, you discard this, you get Druid Swarm, and then somebody's going to have a light in their grave, whether it's you or your opponent. You summon the Druid Swarm, banishing a light from wherever. Maybe you Veilored them, or maybe they just have their own lights and darks. And then this doesn't activate, it just summons itself. So you just summon it, and then your Druid Swarm gets sent to grave, you target Detonator, and then it's just, Detonator's gone. Detonator's outed. The end. And that's kind of what you're trying to do by playing all the hand traps, is you're trying to hand trap them down into a place where, or like pressure them into a place where they pretty much just have to go Detonator pass. So if you can convince them to go like Detonator pass with a hand like this, on the follow-up, you could, if you held your imperm, do something like just imperm the Detonator, and then you've outed their board. You can force them to activate the Detonator by just playing, and then they'll just activate it to pop one of your cards, and then you can just like talents them and steal it. Like, there are so many one card outs to the Detonator in this deck, and Lubellion is one of them. So I just want to bring that up, that the Bystials are definitely worth their weight in the main deck. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in real quick. It's me again, editing from the future, and I just wanted to cut myself in just to show like one more like set combo you can do. But basically, if you do all your Fiendsmith stuff, whenever you're at the point where you have two monsters, you can go sequence, you'll have an engraver and 2 other light fiends in the grave, and then you'll use it to fuse into Desiree, and then you'll link these off into Agnumde, and then Agnumde bring back Desiree, and then Agnumde will equip itself, and then you use sequence to equip to Desiree, and then this gives you a Desiree that is gaining 3,000 attack, which puts him at 5,800, and then you have a Link 3 and a Link 2 equipped, so you can negate up to 5 cards on the field all in one shot. This is more of a follow-up thing. I would pretty much almost always try to make Caesar going first, and then you do this on like turn 3, unless you get into a place where you just like have to do this, which does happen sometimes, but that's another set play you can do. And then I think that's all of like the set combos that I can show for this. Like everything else is nuance, like the Tenpai stuff is pretty intuitive. Like, I mean, it's just make Biden, bring back a guy, make Transcendent, you know, and then like if you have leftover stuff after that, make Try to Dragon. I'm not going to show any of that. Like, that stuff should be pretty intuitive at this point, and Tenpai's like been around long enough that people should know that stuff. But you know, like, just like anything that I didn't show already is just nuance, like climbing up into Princess with Lina so that you can bring back a Tenpai that was used in an earlier turn to go for game. You know, when to make Typhon, when not to. Like, all that stuff's nuance. I can't really like show that in a combo. So that's everything you guys should need to know to get started to playing the deck, and then from there you are just going to have to learn all of the nuances and differences through playtest. But alright, this video is getting a little long-winded and kind of got a stuffy nose, and yeah, I just wanted to show how the deck worked with the profile. Finished 7-2, had a really good day, really disappointing loss. Congrats to both of my opponents who beat me and ended up with a top 8. Congrats to them. Subscribe to the channel. You're going to see a video from a box tournament that I won with this deck. That deck profile is older than this one. I just need to get this one out there because it's Wednesday and the regional happened on Saturday. But you're going to see that box tournament win, and then I also won an Edison tournament, which I'll do a video for that. But that Edison tournament's old. It's from like December. You'll see me playing on a Christmas mat. I just have old footage that needs to go out. And then after that, I want to start doing some more like casual stuff, like sealed and draft and whatnot. Like, stuff seems to be popular on YouTube, so keep an eye out for that. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. I actually have had a lot of really, really nice commenters who have said that stuff like my Fire King deck profile and a whole bunch of stuff has been really helpful for them. So I hope this was helpful for you too, even though, like, I know this deck's been in the format for a while and it should be known about, but you know, hey, sometimes some people just like don't know what's going on in the meta, and if I can inform anyone, like, that's a win. So I love you guys. Please subscribe. It really helps me out, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.